folks, welcome back to the Rage Select Podcast. It's time for the Rage Select Podcast, and Jason, it's so weird. I haven't done the podcast in 2 weeks, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Feels like a goddamn lifetime. It feels like I've just been on. I've been like in the Caribbean for 6 months, you know, sipping island drinks and having sex with those prostitutes from the firm, and like
you are far too uptight for most of the things that you're listing right now.
This is very accurate. I feel like I've been drunk, passed out on my back porch for like 6 hours, and that's more accurate.
Yeah, yes,
it's just so weird. Like 2 weeks. It's funny because I kind of try to rotate the people that are on the show out every so often, and so I try to, like I've asked you, like I think like once a month if you want to be on, or I asked Nick once a month if we want to be on. And I'm like, how the hell do you people even do this when you don't do it every week? I've just completely forgotten how to do a podcast entirely.
How do you do it every week? That I don't understand.
That's do you ever see that Dunkin' Donuts commercial with the
time to make the donuts?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except that I have my Starbucks brand cocaine, my 64-ounce Starbucks cocaine here, and you just put it on and ramble and go. So. I'm trying to remember. Let's see.
We're actually recording this from a bathroom stall in a nightclub.
Is that where I am right now?
Yes. If you listen closely, you can hear the pulsing music and Jeff snorting Starbucks. Yeah. And now I've got to sit here and listen to his bullshit story because he's got the Starbucks.
All right, man. I'm gonna tell you about Bloodborne. Like I've heard about Bloodborne. No, man. No, I'm gonna tell you some new stuff about Bloodborne that you don't know yet.
Rule number 1: do not touch my fucking Starbucks.
That's right. Well, let's see. I guess it was the 21st of December was when the last podcast came out, and I think that before we get into the news or anything else, Jason, I think there's something very, very important, which is it's already like super old news to everybody on the internet, but God damn it. Time and space are a mystery to me. So how'd you like the new Star Wars movie, Jason?
Dude, God damn it. I knew you were going to say that. I know we've already
talked about it like 6 times in person since it came out.
I know, but for the rest of our friends who aren't with us at the bar every night and are scattered all over the globe, first I'd like to say that right before we started recording this podcast, just a few minutes ago, I was thinking, oh, God damn, I'm so sick of Star Wars. And this from the guy whose office whose home office is done up like Hoth.
Yeah, which Star Wars toy did you get for Christmas? Can you you 38-year-old man, can you tell me which one?
Oh, yeah. Allison handcrafted a Wampa.
You just
she made out of like Sculpey and everything.
I hate you, Jason.
She was making a Wampa snow globe. The snow globe part didn't quite work out, and it was but the Wampa itself, and this is a testament to the quality of the Wampa Chepo Pena, our dear friend Chepo, who is, I would say, the biggest Star Wars fan I've ever met.
He's bigger Star Wars fan than you, I think.
Maybe twice as big.
Do you think twice?
He beat me at Star Wars trivia at my birthday, as you might recall.
Oh yeah, and that was for the people at home. I don't know if we talked about this when we talked about your birthday, but in order to make it fair, it was like you and Chepo, and was it like Cargill, and then Chepo's wife, I believe, were playing. And the rules were that you and Chepo, was Cargill playing that, or was he just watching?
I don't remember if Cargill was playing or just watching.
Okay.
I think he might have been playing, maybe. I don't recall, but it was like me and Chepo and Chepo's wife Sarah and Allison and I think Cargill and you were you in on the game?
No,
I don't remember.
I was just watching. I was drinking.
You were just watching.
I was just drinking.
That's right. You were sitting there just hammering beers.
But the trick was that whenever it was Jason or Chepo's turn, they had to answer 3 questions in a row, like rapid fire.
Oh, that's right.
One question that everybody else answered, because it was the only way to be fair, because it was like, it was playing the game with a person who had memorized the game. So the person would start reading the question, and they get like 4 words in, and Jason would be like, fucking cell block 38, and it'd be like Gungan ball sweat and
which don't make no mistake. I've played that game in the past, like a long time ago. And I just got my ass handed to me by some casuals, right? Because so a lot of it's luck of the draw. Like the first time I played Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, it was I was playing. It's like, okay, Jason, how many engines are on the back of a Star Destroyer? How many and I still don't know. I'm like, fuck, 8? I don't know. No, it's like 7 or 8, something like that.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's one of the first things you see. And I was like, okay, well, that's damn. Okay, so this is how the thing's going to play. And then one of the people I was playing against, she got the question, who is the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon? I was like, fuck you. What? And that's how the game went. It was like I just kept getting all of these like crazy like who was Red Pie in the Battle of Yavin, it's all this shit. Oh, shit. And then they would be like, who's the gold-colored robot? So anyway, Chepo.
Just briefly, there are 7 apparently, but that's a bullshit question because in the opening when that thing flies over, there's only 3 of those motherfuckers that are like turned on and doing shit. The other ones are just like fucking jam jars that have been painted silver that have just glued in between the other ones to make it look fancy.
Right.
Anyway,
it's like spoilers. The Star Destroyer just had like just they added the extra mufflers that don't do anything. They're just all shiny.
They put some ground effects on it, some spinners.
Yes. Yes. Your ride is pimping, Captain Nita. So anyway, Chepo Pena, total badass. At my birthday, beat me at Star Wars trivia because he knows his shit. He posted on Facebook today. He said, I have officially lost count of how many times I've seen The Force Awakens.
Wow.
He legit does not remember how many times he's seen it. Anyway, Chepo, when I posted a picture on Facebook of the Wampa that Allison made for me, Chepo said, that is the best Wampa I've ever seen. Better than anything Hasbro has ever made.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's fucking, I mean, it's just this little tiny, statuette, but it's really cool. She got me that, and a little placard for my room, says Mos Eisley Cantina, scum, villainy, blah, 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 no droids allowed. And so it's like, it's a little advertisement type thing for the cantina. And
Okay.
So I get a little bit of Star Wars stuff every year. But what did I think of the movie?
What did you think of the movie?
It's good.
Yeah,
it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, there are problems. I have a lot of problems with it. But I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool.
How many times have you seen it? Have you
just once? Just once. Yeah, I'm going to see it again. I want to see it again in IMAX 3D.
Okay, because I saw it a second time when I went up to Ohio with my parents, and I think that like when I had like it's that trick, right, when you don't have any real expectations because I already know what's going to happen, right? There's no, I don't have any expectations about, oh my God, this is going to be great, or it's going to be the best thing I've ever seen, or whatever. I go in, and I was able to enjoy it much more because it was kind of like the built-up fanboy, crazy 7-year-old Jeff had been like the first viewing like gave him all the Halloween candy, and then he was just in a corner eating himself to a diabetic coma. So I was able to kind of go as an adult and just be like, no, yeah, I enjoyed this. It is not the mind-blowing experience. Like I would definitely say, and I come on, internet, just be cool, all right? Just be cool for a second. But like as just a spectacle experience last year, I probably enjoyed Fury Road more because when I saw Fury Road, I was just like, it just started and didn't let up, and it was explosions and fucking bionic arms and Mad Max, and
I have to say, honestly, I think Fury Road was probably my movie of the year.
Me too. Yeah. But then we went over. I was at a bar, I think, with like Brian Salisbury and a couple people, and they were asking last year about 2014. And they kept listing off movies, and I was like, no, Guardians of the Galaxy. Fuck it. I just.
Solid. No, it was a solid, fun film.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't like The Force Awakens?
The internet.
Cargill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Guess who didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Cargill.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. I kind of had this half-baked idea that I kind of wanted to talk on the podcast this week about because I've been thinking since Star Wars came out of just like this tidal wave of it, I don't know, like think pieces and like, is this character a Mary Sue, and oh, it was terrible, and no, it was the worst movie I've ever seen, or no, I did, or people like poor Randy posts all the time on Facebook, and it seems like there were just a few people who every time he had anything to say, they would just come into his Facebook and just be like, yeah, well, I didn't like it, so
yeah, that's the thing, is that, and I'm trying to be better about this, because God knows I can be a total shitheel about it sometimes, but it's like I'm trying not to just crap all over things that other people are enjoying, particularly my friends. Mm-hmm. That said, I bet by the end of this podcast, I will say, no, fuck you, that's stupid, about something. It's almost a given. I'm trying, I'm failing miserably.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I really liked The Force Awakens. It felt like here's my thing. It felt like training wheels. This was without spoilers. Training wheels to reintroduce everyone to the Star Wars universe proper, the non-prequel universe. It felt like, hey, we're going to do all this fan service and kind of just ease you back in with a lot of familiar stuff. I'm like, you don't need to do that. It's part of the cultural fabric.
Yeah.
Now, that said, it was just like, hey, here's a cover band playing all of the songs you love.
Right.
And you're drunk, and so woo!
Yeah, Journey, I love this song. You've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I've heard it so many times. Yeah, in fact, I think that my favorite parts of episode 7 were definitely when it was not reminding me about the original Tridge, as I've taken to call it.
There were a couple of moments where even in the euphoric high of watching the film, which I did have most of the time, I would stop and go, don't say it. Don't. Oh, he fucking said it. Okay. I knew where you were going with it, and you did it. Yeah, I know. It's like, why don't you just wink at the fucking camera, Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
It's like, remember that? Huh?
Yeah. I think I might have, I think I might have been cured a little bit of that because I've been watching Clone Wars, the Netflix, after so long of people telling me that I should watch it. Like, I finally got the one thing that episode 7 did do is just totally like reignite. I'm just like, yeah, I want to play the MMO again, and I'm just watch this Clone Wars cartoon and go back and reinstall Republic Commando or whatever. There's a thing in that Clone Wars show where they say, I've got a bad feeling about this
all the time.
Like every episode. And I'm just like, you have got to stop doing this, cartoon, because like it was just a thing. It was just a thing Han Solo said. It wasn't his catchphrase.
I know.
It wasn't like he had a shirt on that said, I have a bad feeling about this, and they go into the bar and everybody's like, because that's what you say all the time. Like, I think did he only say it one time in the entire prequel original trilogy?
No. I'm not sure. I think he says it twice. I think it's once in Star Wars and once in Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, see, that would be a question in Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. But they do say it like a lot in the Clone Wars cartoon. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I enjoy the Clone Wars cartoon enough to where whenever they say it, I'm like, all right, you know what? You can say that as much as you want, as long as Zero the Hutt doesn't show up. And every now and then that motherfucker shows up, and I'm just like, you guys are trying my patience. I let you slide on that got a bad feeling thing so many times.
I don't understand Zero the Hutt. I'm like, Jabba's gay uncle. Like, why was that a thing that you had to put?
Well, they've got him acting like he sounds like fucking Blanche Devereaux from the Golden Girls.
Yeah,
or Truman Capote.
I really don't understand. I mean, like, that was the thing that put me off, or one of the major reasons. That, and okay, people have said online, and I'm sure they're going to say it again in the comment section for this, that Ahsoka gets better as time goes on. I cannot fucking stand her. Like, that's internet. That's the internet talking through me.
I don't think that there's an episode where she does not fuck everything up. I'm only like a few episodes into the second season, so I'm way behind. But I'm just like, let me guess, Ahsoka's gonna ruin the goddamn mission because she won't listen or because she's a dumbass. And sure enough, like every time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm like, I can't wait for Order 66. I can't wait for Order 66. Put a bolt right in the back of her fucking skull. Night, Snips. It's time to sleep.
Yeah, but there have been a few episodes of that show that I really enjoyed, and I also Cad Bane kept showing up.
Cad Bane, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
Cad Bane.
He kept showing up in this little phone game that I've been playing, the Star Wars phone game that I've been playing. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Then I watched him. I was like, oh no, I like this guy. In fact,
yeah,
I've decided that I like anybody in the entire Star Wars universe who is like, oh, are you a Jedi? Well, that's cool, but I'm not afraid of you. I mean, you've got space magic, but I've got, like, my brain, like Batman and shit, and I could, like, shoot at you so fast that you can't use the Force to choke me out or whatever.
Yeah, he's a badass. I like Cad Bane a lot. When he shows up, the whole series just goes up a notch in quality.
Yeah, and the only other problem, we'll move on after we talk about this, but the only other thing that I have a problem with as far as that show goes is that, like, I don't understand why anybody would continue to let General Grievous be a general and do things, because his track record in the Clone Wars cartoon is abysmal. He's just constantly getting beaten by every single time he does a thing. Like, he gets minor victories here and there, but he's pretty much just an inept fool most of the time.
Yeah, so many people complain about Grievous, and yeah, he fucks up all the time, but oh, he's weird and cool. He's this little cyborg alien thing and with all these arms. That's awesome. I think he's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him. I really like him in that episode of the Clone Wars, the 2D animated Clone Wars, where he just comes in and, like, murders two Jedi real fast.
Yeah.
Like, that is cool. The rest, I could kind of do without. But anyway, we've got a bunch of news. So, hey, folks, the way that we're going to do this week is we're going to do news, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do half emails. We're also going to do half, like, talking about the video games that we played last year. I made a couple lists. I know, some people have been asking, like, are you going to do a Game of the Year thing? And I don't know that enough of the people that were on Rage Select Jason played enough video games to actually have, like, a legit Game of the Year discussion. I mean,
like Sarah and Joe and everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah and Joe play games, but, Sarah's focus is very limited. Joe's not really, what am I going to do? Have Grant on to tell me what his best game of 2015 was? Like, all he ever did was sit here and play games with me. So,
yeah. I didn't do much better.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I may bring, maybe next week I'll have John on and we can talk. I mean, even Nick, he's doing his own show. And I'm like, hey, what are you playing? He's like, oh, I'm playing, the game that came out 3 months ago. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, we already talked.
Probably playing like Age of Empires or Civ or something because of all of his history shit.
Oh yeah, he was playing Until Dawn, which is one that I need to go back and actually play because it came out the same week as Metal Gear Solid 5. What do you want from it,
Yeah, and apparently we played the boring part.
Yeah, apparently it gets like super good after that.
Yeah, apparently that first hour is just boring as hell.
We played that shit for like 95 minutes, though. I don't want to get too, we did play that because we played a Patreon video as well on top of the two-parter, and we just managed to start getting to stuff at the end of that. But anyway, all right. Well, we got news, and I'm going to try to run through this. My 2016 Rage Select resolution, one of many, is going to be to try to squeeze a few of the less interesting stories out of the news and to start cutting harder when we get going over time, because these news parts are just starting to get way too long. And I don't think anybody really. I think people give a shit about like the first three stories that we cover, and then the rest of them they're just like, oh, I don't give a fuck. So, Jason, I don't know if you know this, but do you know what happened today?
Oculus Rift was released to the public.
Yes, the pre-order, pre-release Oculus Rift went on sale, and I was
$600.
Yeah. Wow.
No thanks. I'm good for now. I'm all right.
Yep. So officially, all right, here it goes. You could go onto Oculus's website. You could buy the $600 kit. $600. It comes with the Oculus release kit. It comes with it's got a little remote for people who aren't human or over 60 or something. I don't know what that thing is for. It's got it's got this IR thing it's got basically an IR sensor on a pole that tracks your head movement, and then it comes with a wireless Xbox One controller with a PC dongle, $600. Now, the first thing that I did when I saw this was weep openly into my teddy bear.
Yeah. Now this is only for the PC. It only works on the PC, right?
Correct. Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure.
It also has, a minimum spec for PC. Like the required specs are, let's see, this is off of, so NVIDIA GTX 970 or AMD R9 290 equivalent or greater, an i5 4590 equivalent or greater, 8 gigs of RAM, compatible HDMI 1.3 video output, 3x USB 3.0 ports plus 1 USB 2.0 port, so 4 USB ports, and Windows 7 Service Pack 164 or above. They actually said that they're in February going to be releasing kits where you can buy both the Rift and a PC that is rated to run it, starting at $1,200. I'm sad to say that my PC doesn't quite live up to those specifications.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know mine sure as shit don't.
So if I wanted to, I think it's mostly my video card. But so the problem that I'm having here is that, okay, the DK2 was $350, and I consider that to be a perfectly reasonable amount of money to spend on an emerging technology like that, right?
Absolutely.
This is a bit much. This is a freaking console, right? Or a brand new TV, or like $600 is a bit much. But the thing that I forgot to say, sorry, I'm all over the place, is I actually went and looked up what does that Xbox One controller and the dongle that comes with the Xbox One controller, what does that cost? And the Xbox One controllers are $60 a pop. The wireless PC dongle that you can get is $25. That's $85 retail, right? If you would consider the price of this. So if they had a $550 or $525 version of this that didn't have that thing, that might be a little bit closer to what I was looking to pay.
Well, yeah, it's closer, but it's still a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, it's for something that is not a gaming system. You know, that's and plus, God, it's such a shame. I mean, I still want one because I know I have seen the light. You know, it's like it's the clutter has been wiped from my eyes, and I know the magic and glory. But I talk to people now still, and they're like, and I don't care virtual reality. But even today, I had that conversation where a friend was just like, "Yeah, you don't see me rushing out to buy one." And I said, "That's because you haven't tried it yet, my friend."
Yeah,
it's like, and this person that I was talking to has the money, not a huge gamer, but has the money, and it's like, man, you put that Oculus Rift on the first time, and if you've got the money, you'll be like, "All right, here's my card. Just put it on there, whatever. Just I don't even care."
I don't think that people understand that it's not. I think that they imagine that when they put it on, it's going to be like they're going to put it on and they're going to see like a big screen in front of them, right?
Right.
I think that's what they think, and it's not like that. It's literally like you got picked up and then you were put inside of the video game. Like you turn your head around. I haven't done this in like 6 months. I haven't geeked out about VR in a while.
Yeah.
Turn your head around and you can see everything. But the problem at this point is that $600, like, it's possible by the end of the year that this might be worth $600 if companies spend this entire year putting out VR compatible games. But I know what's available right now because I look every week to be like, please let there be something, and there ain't shit at the moment.
If it doesn't succeed and like VR just kind of goes away and becomes just like this tiny niche little,
you mean like Google Glass
thing,
yeah.
like Google Glass or something, like, it's gonna break my heart because it's just like when I'm talking to people, I kind of turn into a crazy evangelist about it. Like I'm standing on a street corner saying, "You are not prepared. Everything is different now." Because, like, okay, let me ask you this: What are your thoughts on 3D TV?
Garbage.
Yeah, because they quit making them, I think, like most or all manufacturers. Because remember, like within the last 2 years, those were kind of a big thing, and now you really don't hear much about them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Hai has one, and he and Tony, the erstwhile co-host, both say, dude, it is fucking incredible.
Oh, sure. It's just too much overhead, right? It's just, like if you want to have 4 people over to watch a 3D movie, you've got to have 4 $50 pairs of glasses, and you got to wear
not even that.
Glasses. Oh, okay.
Not even that. I mean, most people that I talk to anyway, and of course, you and I both are, we run in circles of people who are much more immersed in creating and commenting on games and movies, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not talking to your average person who wants a nice TV and who just likes movies but can't tell you who directed Domino starring Keira Knightley, or whatever.
Right.
But so
is that what you ask people when you first meet them, Jason?
Yeah.
Do you know who directed Domino with Keira Knightley? Oh, get the fuck away from me, man! Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, but first, listen to me about virtual reality. And I'm on the street cleaner on the street corner, and I smell like pee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really takes the buy-in of the masses for something like this to succeed. And Oculus Rift is certainly no different, because a lot of money has been spent to make these VR units, to make them work, to make them good, to make them viable products that people would want, And a lot of people either still have the taint from Lawnmower Man and you said dongle earlier, and I didn't laugh, so fuck off. Of Lawnmower Man and like 90s quote unquote virtual reality in the mall when you put the giant thing on your head. So they just don't get it. But I think once people put it on their heads, on their faces, they'll understand. I just hope that VR doesn't go the way of 3D TVs. And again, I haven't experienced the 3D TVs, but I'm taking the word of people I trust who swear to me. They're like, dude, the 3D TV is fucking incredible. But it's like the Betamax. The Betamax was better than VHS,
right?
But it's gone.
But I guess what I'm really hoping, and this is probably going to be the most fragile time for VR this year, probably, because the thing is that if you get enough people like you and I and other people who are crazy, who I'm not going to buy one of these right now, right? But 6 months from now, but I'll tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to email Oculus and be like, hey, I want to feature your shit on my show. Will you send me one of these things? Or I'll give you $200 and you send me one of these things. And they'll be like, fuck off. And I'll be like, okay. But I may eventually, once there's enough things for this, if there are enough things for this, save up and get one of these. And what I'm hoping is that, unlike 3D TV, where to me, okay, so here's the difference that I see between this and 3D TV, is that 3D TV seemed like a thing that the TV industry was desperate to shove down our throats. Like, oh man, you got it, or even the movie industry, right? I don't go see movies in 3D. Gives me a headache. I don't like it.
Yeah, and it always looks shitty. The projectionist never really knows how to do it, and they don't know that. Okay, you got to change the bulb out and put a brighter bulb in there, etc.
So what I'm hoping is that, but this is a technology that has kind of found a resurgence because there's a bunch of people that are really, really interested in it. So rather than something where like this monolithic industry is trying to push this technology on you, that it's this thing that, I want VR to happen and to be $300 and for everybody to have one, right? So I'm hoping that that's going to be the difference between the two of these, is that there's going to be at least enough of the crazy people, enough of the pee pants people to spend $600 on this, or however much the Vive is going to be. That's the other problem with this, is that if Oculus can get away with charging $600 for this, it means Sony's probably going to charge at least $600 for theirs.
Valve and HTC and all that.
I mean, we already see how did you see the pricing on the goddamn Steam boxes? We already know that Valve has no idea how much money people have.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a console, except it runs Linux and it's $1,200. And you're like, No.
You're right.
What are you, crazy?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm really excited about it, but I think it's going to be key to get these in people's hands. You need more things like at South by Southwest last year. They had I think it was last year. They had this Game of Thrones exhibit where you just walked around the wall.
Yep.
And the place where the crows, the Night's Watch, were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you walked around, and people were like, "Yeah, I'll check it out." And then when they walked away, they were like, "Oh, holy shit!"
Yeah, it's really incredible. If you ever find yourself in a place where you could check one of these things out, it's really interesting, and I'm hoping that it manages to go forward. But
so something that I've only really realized, speaking of VR, within the last couple of weeks, is you can look up VR videos on YouTube on your phone, and you just move your phone around with complete immersiveness. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole Gear VR thing where if you've got the right Samsung Galaxy Note, for $150, you can buy a headset that you just snap your phone into. And in fact, there's a whole bunch of apps for that ecosystem that I can't run on the Oculus Rift. Like, they have a Netflix app for specifically that doesn't run on my DK2.
Right. Well, all you need to do is, because Brushwood was showing me some of this stuff. He just pulled some stuff up on his iPhone and put it into a Google Cardboard, which you can get for $5, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm sitting there watching Discovery Channel stuff, and MythBusters stuff. Like, here's a 360-degree spherical camera setup at the bottom of the ocean with all these sharks. And so you're just sitting there looking around wearing your phone, with your phone just strapped to your face.
Yep.
And there's no other plugins or anything available. And that's pretty incredible. I mean, if you guys haven't tried it out, you should just Google like VR MythBusters. It's so badass. And look it up on your phone though, if you have a phone with like an accelerometer and everything in it. But Discovery just sent. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Okay. All right. Well, let's plow through the rest of this because there was more than just this. First orders, I believe, are already sold out, and if I remember reading this correctly, I think that they said they're going to ship in March. So yes, you won't get charged until the Rift ships in March. Here's the thing: a couple more updates. One, pre-orders apparently will not sell out. Like, they're just going to manufacture as many of these damn things as they get orders for, which is good. They are going to be staggered when they ship, right? So they're going to have to manufacture them in order to be able to ship them. Apparently, if you were one of the people who pre-ordered in this first, because by the time this podcast comes out, they're going to be on like the 6th pre-order or something like that. But apparently, they backed up the controllers to the end of 2016 instead of the first quarter of 2016. But if you pre-order in this first grouping, you're able to basically be the first person on the list to be able to buy the motion controllers that they're doing. So there is that. Also, it was announced that if you kickstarted the original Oculus Rift at the $300 or higher price point, they're going to send you one of the consumer versions for free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is great. Wish I had thought about that, et cetera, et cetera. And finally, and also they announced that there's a game called Lucky's Tale that is, we already knew that Valkyrie was going to come if you ordered it. And there's another, this kind of, it's just like, it kind of looks like a Conquer game or something, not Conquer, but like one of those old platforming type of games with this little fox called Lucky's Tale is going to come with it. But
yeah, a plucky anthropomorphic fox. That's exactly what I want to see. Fuck you.
But I tell you what, the Oculus isn't shipping until March, but CCP, this is the only good news in this entire story block for me, Jason. CCP announced that Valkyrie is going to go into a closed alpha testing period that is going to be compatible with my DK2. So,
oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to have to come over and play some of that because Valkyrie looks like the tits.
It really does. Like, I might have to go out. I just looked at my video card and it's a GTX 760. I might have to go get a GTX 970 just to see if I can't drag my PC up to the point where it can kind of run some. Because the last few times I've run shit on my PC, it's just been like, actually, you know what? I've got all the requisites except for the video card. I need a new video card. God damn it. All right.
Man, okay, so I was at Brushwoods the other day, just a couple of weeks ago, it feels like, and he gets this new video card in the mail, and he was so excited. Like, he just sat there and just, like, had one of his employees install it, like, as I stood there. And then, like, a couple of weeks later, we're talking about, I want to say we were talking about Fallout 4, and he's like, yeah, my video card is just not quite good enough. I'm like, dude, you just got that last month, and you told me you paid like $300 for it. It's like, yeah. And I'm like, how's that PC Master Race working out for you?
Oh, it's great if you've got a lot of money, Jason. It's awesome.
I know.
If you're selling puzzle boxes to people, like $600 a pop to a billion people.
But no, he was all bummed. He's like, because he just got that video card.
Yeah.
He just got it. It wasn't like top of the line, but it was really good. I don't remember which one it was.
I just looked up.
And it wasn't enough.
I just looked up what a GTX 970 would cost me. $350.
Yep.
Fuck the PC. God damn, I
Right.
fucking hate it so much. Like,
See?
like I've everything else in my PC would totally work to run the Oculus except for that one thing, and it's like, oh, we'll buy a $600 Oculus and then a $350 video card to make it work. It's like, all right, $1,000 for a thing that there's going to be 4 games out for this year. Great,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. And you know the PC experience. I know, because I used to be part of the master race. The PC experience, as far as gameplay goes and everything, is superior. But it's also very, very expensive.
It's absolutely superior. Yeah.
And also, sometimes a real pain in the ass, money aside.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's see. One more VR story, and then we're going to kick out. Apparently at CES, HTC announced that they are putting out a second HTC Vive dev kit that is coming with let's see, what are the changes here? Headset's been redesigned, 2 motion controller wands, and the straps in the headset has been redesigned to rebalance the weight a little bit. There's no actual information out there. I tell you, the other thing that's got me just a little bit worried about VR, Jason, is the fact that every single one of these peripherals is coming with some kind of goofy, like, I'm going to hold these things in my hands, like my virtual hands are in the virtual world type of thing.
What?
Yeah, the Oculus has their thing with the little loop where you can give everybody a thumbs up and whatever. The Vive has these 2 wands that you hold, and then every time you see somebody messing with the PlayStation VR, they've got those Move controllers out. They've got the goddamn ice cream cones like they're playing.
Oh, stop. It's dead.
Johann Sebastian
Stop
Joust.
it.
Yeah.
Put it in the box with the Kinect and Rob the Video Robot and the Power Pad and the Virtual Boy and the Power Glove. Just put that in the fucking landfill next to E.T.
Well, the only thing that I could say, right, is having played a bunch of stuff on VR, the traditional mouse and keyboard input method does feel clunky and like disconnected from your experience, especially when you're moving your head around. Like, it feels very unnatural because you don't have that weird synesthesia of like tunnel vision on the screen because you're actually moving your head all around. It just doesn't read as well. The problem is that I'm just hoping that they use these things to make like BioShock games where I can throw fireballs at people and not just like pet the unicorn and like punch your boss in the face or whatever.
You know how I feel about like motion controls. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Because really the no-brainer from years ago was lightsaber battles.
Yes.
And I still have yet to get one that's even halfway decent. So fuck you and your motion controls.
That's a great question. Is with all of the goddamn every system, the PlayStation Move, the Kinect, the Wii, the goddamn Wii has been a motion controlled system with the lightsaber hilt for a controller for how many years? And where is the lightsaber game? Where is it?
Yep.
Like,
and that is exactly what I was saying when the Wii came out. Not the Wii U, the Wii.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, lightsaber game.
Yeah.
Lightsaber game. And the closest we got was that goddamn Star Wars Kinect monstrosity.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, you know what? I don't understand what the hell is going on with a lot of like licensed video game properties. Like, why wasn't there an Episode 7 game? I bitched about this for the Avengers. I bitched about Ant-Man would have been a good video game. There was a Mad Max video game. It wasn't very good, but it also wasn't a tie-in.
It was good, but it wasn't a tie-in. It was good. It just wasn't great.
Yeah, it was metastic. All right, so...
Make it sound like cancer cells.
Oh yeah. Well, are you excited, Jason? There's something on the horizon. Speaking of cancer cells, so we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that later. All right, let's zip through the rest of this because most of this is mostly non-news. I'm not actually covering anything that happened before January, right? So all this news is stuff that's happened in January.
Sure.
So Assassin's Creed. There's a rumor that there's not going to be an Assassin's Creed game this year. Outside of the 2D ones that they're putting out, that they're taking
thank God,
some time off. And the other half of that rumor is that the next game is going to be set in Egypt, which could make a lot of sense. Actually, would that be, if it's ancient Egypt, that's going to be the earliest game? I have no historical context for anything. So anyway,
well,
that would be before. Wait, I don't know.
Yeah, that's pre-Christian, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, yeah. Stupid brain. Come on. Which would be kind of cool. I mean, if you were seeing some more of kind of like because the first one, the assassins were a thing, but they seemed like they were still pretty early days. If you had one, man, can you just imagine like running up the side of a bunch of pyramids and shit? Oh my God, they would put so many.
That's pretty badass, actually. But you know what I want to see? I want to see the Western one. I want to see a sci-fi one in the distant future with like the world of Blade Runner, but Assassin's Creed.
Maybe, just maybe, when they say Egypt, what they actually mean is Stargate. And I got to tell you, so
that'd be pretty cool. But okay. I just came up with this. Here's the winner, right?
All right. Tell me your pitch.
Modern times.
Okay.
Modern Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
The assassin is a Cub Scout. Bam.
A kid?
I just came up with that off the top of my fucking head.
Like
pay me, Ubisoft. Fucking pay me. Yeah. Ubisoft. He's got a Cub Scout, 8 years old. He's got his fucking... he's got his wolf and his bear and his tiger, not his Weebelows yet, because he's got a fucking gut like the pack leader.
So wait, does this mean that when he's gonna get his gutted the pack leader badge and his jumped into a hay pile badge and impersonated an Italian nobleman badge?
Okay. Yeah, the den leader is teaching all of the kids how to be assassins and maybe the Brownies or the Templars or something like that. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. It's just got to have a lot of bloodshed.
You kind of mixing what Moonrise Kingdom and Hunger Games there? Is that what you're kind of getting towards?
See, now you're thinking.
Okay.
You're this is gold. This is gold.
But I'm real happy that Assassin's Creed is taking if they are indeed taking this year off, good. You should.
Yeah, dude, I forgot that I played all the way through Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I just completely forgot. And it was less than 2 months ago.
Yeah. It was so just whoosh, gone. Do you remember what it? Oh yeah, it was a brother and a sister, and blah 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 blah.
Well, yeah, and it was. I remember it being. It was a good game. It was fine, but it was just it was just one of those things where, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. You know why? Because it happens all the goddamn time.
I want to come back to that when I talk about the Game of the Year stuff in the second part. But next up, Activision Blizzard has been confirmed. This was a thing that was going around as a rumor that they are buying the MLG Major League Gaming group.
Oh, right.
For building their TV channel, ESPN of esports thing. I looked up MLG, and apparently they're a big deal in the competitive gaming scene, as you guys could probably tell by the way I'm talking about this. I don't know anything about the competitive gaming scene. They run Counter-Strike tournaments and fucking Dota and stuff like that. I can't tell whether this is. I mean, so far Activision seems to be doing this with their stated intentions are that they want to kind of bring in these other groups as like they hired somebody from ESPN a little while back. Like they're just hiring a bunch of people to try to create a great competitive gaming channel, right? Which I think would be cool if they could bring competitive gaming to the real world, just because I want to see the social media posts where all the football people are just like, man, you fucking nerds. When I go to Pluckers, I don't want to see Counter-Strike. I want to see football. And be like, welcome to my world, asshole.
Yeah.
I'm going to go when the international is happening, and I'm going to jump out of my chair and cheer every time fucking Team Korea scores a point in Dota 2, and you get to see how it feels for once in your fucking life, you loud hillbilly. Sorry.
I just got some emotions there. Wait, is this Allison I'm talking to?
To this day, can you explain it to me? To this day, the one thing it is socially appropriate to jump up and scream at the top of your lungs in any public place is if there's a fucking sports game on. Like, it's okay when you're in the middle of Bennigan's and there's some guy at the bar for him to, fuck yeah. He starts smashing the bar with his bar stool, and they're just like, oh, I guess UT is playing this weekend.
I'm going to find somewhere where they're showing, like, the next season of Game of Thrones, and I'm going to do that, like, yeah, Arius, stab that motherfucker. Fucking, yes.
Yeah. But I, as I said numerous times, I'm really happy. I'd be really happy if this stuff came to the real world, because there was that one time where I went to the bar and they were playing Heroes of the Storm up on ESPN, and I was able for the first time in my entire life to feel like everybody else apparently does when they're showing football, because I was just sitting there with my beer like, oh man, oh go, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I that's why I like going to, like, one of the few bars in town, like Casino El Camino, where you walk in and it's like, oh, what's on the TV? Oh, look, it's Escape from New York. Good. This is good. I will stay here.
Yeah. Do you have any real thoughts, or, I mean, you haven't really dipped a toe into competitive gaming at all, have you? Or have you?
No, because I'm not good.
Okay.
It's I'm not good.
I'm not good either, but I started watching a little bit of it. Like, have you ever watched any of Evo, where they got the fighting game tournaments, or?
Yeah, I've seen little clips here and there. I've seen some really interesting stuff now and then.
I think that, like, if you can put this stuff together, like the way the slickly produced stuff that they have on ESPN, I would watch that. I would put it on in the background while I was doing something else, and then be like, oh.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, but I get it. I get that people are into it. It's not my thing, but yeah, go for it.
Fair enough.
It's like, then again, football's not my thing either. I don't give a shit.
Well,
But I know I would rather see, like, a wizard fighting a tree monster than I would two guys in pads
smashing into each other over and over again.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple of quick announcements. Apparently, this February, the second expansion to Pillars of Eternity is coming out. Called the
rad. Okay.
White
I never
March
played
Part
that.
2. You should.
I forgot all about it.
You dig it the most, baby. You should be playing Pillars of Eternity, because I know that you have an affinity for Baldur's Gate, at least more than I do. I bet you would really, really enjoy that game. Let's see. The PlayStation Now has added 40 more PS3 games to their lineup, which brings it up to more than 300 total games that you can get access to if you do PlayStation Now.
You don't do that, right?
No, I have, but it's not necessary for the most part, because I still own a lot of these games and a PlayStation 3 that functions. So it's like, it's kind of cool that White Knight Chronicles is on there. But if I want to play White Knight Chronicles, I'll just plug in my PlayStation 3. It's there.
Yeah, I've got a lot. It's like, I'm playing so many things right now, and just in little bits and pieces, that it's like like a service that allows me to, rent stuff regularly would just be wasted on me.
Well, that's the thing about it, is that, what is it? You get, it's better if they would just lower the subscription costs. Because right now, a year subscription to PlayStation Now is $100, which is a bit much. And I think you can go for $20 for a month, or $44.99 for 3 months. it's too expensive for what you're getting. A bunch of PlayStation 3 games that are, are of dubious quality depending on how good your internet connection is. Yeah. Like, Starhawk, that was a good game. Do I have any interest in playing it again? No.
Yeah, it was. I remember Starhawk fondly. It was cool.
Yeah. It would almost be like, at this point, though, $100 for a year of this, it'd almost be more worth your while just to go borrow your friend's PlayStation 3 and spend $100 on the 8 games in here that you wanted to play. In the dollar bin at GameStop. Speaking of the dollar bin at GameStop, no, that's not good. Scalebound. You remember? Have you looked at Scalebound at all? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, Scalebound is the Xbox One Platinum Games dragon riding game that they've been showing off. The last couple things that they've done. It would not surprise me at all if you have never heard of this game one little bit.
Yeah, no, that doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. It's like some guy with like headphones and a sword, and he's in this land, and he's got a dragon friend who it kind of looked like a hack and slash and third person thing, but then his dragon jumps down and the dragon's fighting like other giant things. Matt Frank is going to love it. That's what I can say. It has been delayed, though, out of 2016 into 2017, which kind of blows considering the fact that I've been saying for a year now that Microsoft needs to get their exclusive game. They need to fucking get that shit going.
Yeah. I've seen some posts, I want to say it was for the month of December, where the games with gold stuff was criticized by one commenter. They said something to the effect of, are they serious? Is this a joke?
What was
and it was like, I don't remember what the games were, but it was a game that they had offered like not too long ago, and something else that nobody was interested in.
Let's see, games with gold for 2015. Van Helsing, the Adventures of Van Helsing, that Diablo style. Thief, the Xbox One version of Thief, and then Castle Storm, Sacred 3, and Operation Flashpoint for the 360. Yeesh. Ew.
Yeah, right?
Not great, but what are the current ones? Let's see. January 2016 is...
Have they even announced it yet?
It should be out, right? It's January of 2016.
Well, sometimes it takes them a little while to really catch up. Like, it was a couple of days into January when PlayStation Plus put their stuff up, so it usually is.
Right. No, here's Major Nelson's blog. Games with Gold for 2016, Killer Instinct, and Zeros, Zheros, for the Xbox One.
Don't know that one.
Dirt Showdown, a Deus Ex Human Revolution for the 360. Anyway. So, yeah, Scalebound's been delayed, and then Microsoft also put out a press release basically giving a list of everything that is coming out that is exclusive to them in the year 2016. So, let's take a look. Gears of War 4, Quantum Break, Halo Wars 2, Crackdown 3, Fable Legends, Recore, Sea of Thieves, Gigantic, Killer Instinct Season 3, and then a bunch of stuff for the Xbox for Windows 10 that's already out, and Cobalt, which is a game I had to look up because I didn't remember what it was. Some motion published thing. So
nothing there is really getting me too excited.
I mean, I'm still really excited for Quantum Break in April. Like, Quantum Break looks like it has the potential to be really cool, and Sea of Thieves is the one that I cannot wait for, because that's the... I mean, again, you probably didn't watch much from E3 this year, Jason, but it's a game being made by Rare, and it's like a multiplayer pirate game where you and your friends all get a pirate ship and then drive it around.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. That one looks really cool.
Yeah. Gigantic is their MOBA. Fable Legends just has never been really interesting to me. I know that Aaron's going to be all over Crackdown 3 when it comes out, because...
Oh, yeah, he's nuts about that game.
But... all right, so let's just roll through the rest of these. I'm going to skip that one. Psychonauts 2 got its funding. It was on the FIG service, $3.3 million. Great. I know there's a lot of people out there who consider all of Double Fine's previous crowdfunding work to basically be a resume for why you should not be giving any money to Double Fine, and they should just be making.
Tell me more about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that a lot of people just don't like. So there's two major issues. One was that Broken Age didn't apparently. I didn't finish Broken Age, but apparently Broken Age didn't really live up to what people thought that it should have been with the excess of money that was given to them for it. Like, they kind of considered both of the parts to end up, when you look at them as a whole, of being like, this is what we got for a couple $1 million. Like, okay, like, this is all right and everything, but that amount of crowdfunding, I think that people expected more. And then they also had another game called Space Base DF9, I believe it was, that was in early access. You guys correct me if I'm getting this wrong, because I'm just doing this off of memory, but it was in early access, and they sold it in early access, and they were developing on it, and then at some point they just said, we're done, and just flipped it over to, like, it's a fully released product at this point, without actually fulfilling, I believe it was without fulfilling a bunch of the things they said they were going to do inside the game, or bug fixing it or whatever. But yeah, apparently, I mean, the last time that we talked about this on the show, there were a few people in the comments who kind of ran down that there's a lot of people out there who kind of have some bad feelings towards Double Fine about the way that they've handled crowdfunding and crowdfunded projects before.
Yeah, it seems like that, I don't know. You always hear about the failed Kickstarters. Maybe I just gravitate to those stories, but I mean, it just seems like so many of them are unfulfilled, or something happens, or, you know, or straight out fraud.
Mm-hmm. You know, what's funny about that is that, so let me see if I can find this page, is that I think I was thinking about that as well at one point, and then I went to Kickstarter, and I went to games, and what was the thing that you've defined? There's like a thing that you can see games that have been, there it is, games that were kickstarted that are out, and there's actually quite a few of them.
Good.
Like, you could look at this: Jotun, Skyshine's Bedlam, Massive Chalice, Cat Lateral Damage, Sunset, Pillars of Eternity was crowdfunded, Discourse, Darkest Dungeon, Republic, Armello. I mean, a bunch of the stuff that came out last year that was actually kickstarted to completion and then fully came out. The Escapists, Sunless Sea is one that I know a lot of people like. But so, yeah, there are definitely, I think that it's just one of those things where, unless you're really focused on drilling down into Kickstarter and keeping track of kind of everything that does get funded and when it actually comes out, that it's real easy to hear a story about a thing getting kickstarted and then forget to ever check back on it to see if it actually came to completion. And it looks like a lot of these did. Oh, The Fall was a Kickstarter project. I like that game. And last but certainly not least, and this one just warms the small lump of black goo where my heart used to be, Hideo Kojima is being inducted into the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame. Woo!
Yay!
So fuck you, Konami. Like,
there is some justice.
Yeah, and that's about all I'm going to say about that, because until I still hope someday, Jason, that he gets drunk, or I don't know, like he tells somebody, tells a prostitute. I don't know. And there's
listen, whore.
No, it's just like it's like, I gotta talk to somebody about this shit that happened at Konami, because I'm sure whatever it is, I'm sure that no matter what it is, if the internet has taught me anything, that whatever the story of what happened at Konami is probably so stupid that when we finally find it out, it's going to be like, oh man, like, yeah, he would never submit his expense reports. So fuck that guy.
Right. Yeah. Somebody kept eating his leftovers out of the fridge.
Right. And then he peed on somebody's desk. Right. And then, yeah, it was.
Well, shit. That's how Kojima rolls.
Also, you know what? I don't think that I'll just roll this in before we go on our break. But I didn't think that between the last time that we did our podcast and now, can't remember if we discussed in the last podcast that he's out doing a thing for Sony.
Yes.
So you guys already know that. I'm super excited. Oh, no, I talked about it with Kevin last time, but I'm super excited. Can't wait to see what that is. I'm sure it'll be at least 1,000,000 years before it comes out. We'll all be dead and buried. But, yeah. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. And we come back, we're going to do some talking about the best games that we played last year and answer a few emails. So stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. And it's time for not emails. It's time to talk about great games that we played last year. And Jason,
we're doing that first.
Yeah, we're going to do that first. We're going to start off with that, and then we'll see how much time we've got for emails towards the end. My emails are a little weird because I was gone for so long. We haven't emptied it out, so, kind of want to let things reset. So if we don't get to your email this week, send it to mail@rageselect.com, and next week, we'll get to it. Before we start, I just wanted to say that I thought a lot about 2015 for video games. And at the end of the year, I think that I was really kind of like disappointed about 2015.
Really?
Well, so I don't know. It's weird because it's like I was disappointed, and then I started reading out all the games that came out last year, and I was like, but I loved a bunch of these games.
You greedy asshole.
And I think that in putting together the list of games that I really liked last year, I think I realized that there's a thing that has fundamentally changed in me about games. Two things. Right?
Okay.
The first one is that I just do not have the I don't have the stamina anymore to play 40-hour video games unless they're very, very good.
Oh, sure. Nor should you. That's the thing. It's like if it's not very, very, if you're not having fun, stop doing it.
Right. And I should be more specific about that, because there are things like The Witcher that I'm going to talk about where it's like there's nothing intrinsically wrong with The Witcher, but what I'm looking for in that game, what I'm looking for in a longer game is something that changes constantly, right? So that it's not like 30 hours. I think that's why I finally fell off of Fallout 4, was because it was just like I'm doing the same thing all over and over and over again. Go to this place, talk to this person, do this thing. The same kind of thing with The Witcher 3. And I think that I'm looking for stuff that really pushes I think that's one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed was so forgettable, because you go to this place, you talk to this guy, you go to this place, you get in a carriage, you drive it over here, stealth kill this guy, and you're done, right? And that you do that over and over and over and over and over again. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with it. It's just that I think that there were so many games that did good stuff and kept evolving the way that the game went that I enjoyed those games more. The other thing is that I think that there was a lot of games in the back half of last year that were really just the next iteration of a game that I've already played a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. Like that was Assassin's Creed
or Black Ops 3 or things like that. And there are a couple of games on this list that I've made that fall into that category. But if a game, I just feel like there's so much opportunity to do new and crazy and different things with games out there that when you just like, here's Black Ops 3, well, what's different about this one? Well, you've got some magic powers. And it's like, is that it? And it's like, yeah, you've got some magic powers. It's like, well, that's not enough for me. I need more than just Call of Duty with magic powers.
Yeah.
So there's
agreed.
Agreed.
It's like, okay, so you put a different skin on it. And, it's franchise games, and I think I've made this comparison before. Franchise games are a lot like your favorite band. Mm-hmm. So when a band comes out and its first album is great, or a second album or whatever, and it has an amazing album, and you listen to it over and over and over, their next album comes out, and maybe it sounds just the same as the last one, and everyone's like, oh, they're a one-trick pony. This is all they can do. I don't care for this. I don't like this. It sounds just like the other one. Or they're like, okay, well, we did that. Let's go with a completely different sound and change things up. And then the other half of people say, oh, well, they're doing something totally different. I don't like this. I like the old sound.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing. So I mean, I get the developers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. But don't get me wrong. I don't have any pity for big publishers. But
poor EA. Oh.
yeah, exactly. That's like saying, "Oh, poor Chairman Mao."
Yeah, I mean, I looked at some of the stuff like Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4, and it's like I bought Rock Band 4. I had some fun playing Rock Band 4, but it was just more Rock Band. And while I was totally evangelizing that earlier this year, it was like, tell me what you want. And I was like, I want more Rock Band. They're like, here's more Rock Band. And I'm just like, okay, what else?
Oh,
but I want.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, well, I tell you what, I've got 4 different lists here, Jason. So I'm going to go with one, and then you can go with one, and then I'm going to go with another, and then I'll just do all the rest of them real fast.
Go for it.
So the first one, the list that I'm going to go down is games that I wish I played more in 2015. Games
right on.
that
okay.
I wish I had more time to play. And so we're going to start with Undertale, which everybody keeps saying is incredible, and I really keep meaning to go back to, but there's just something that I'm not really getting about it. Like, it's not like what we played of it just didn't hook me real hard.
Yeah, people are bananas about it. But like most things these days, give it about 3 weeks and everyone's going to be like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
The second is a tie between Tales from the Borderlands and Life is Strange, because both of those were episodic games that I was going to wait until they were done, and they all finished around Christmas when we were in the middle of the fucking firestorm deluge of video games. Next, Rebel Galaxy, which I just bought it a second time on the PlayStation 4, because the problem with it being on the PC was that I couldn't play it because I had to keep rendering videos like a madman. So I'm really hoping to get back into that, because I love me a privateer game, and that one seemed like it was really good. I just never had a chance to play it. Next, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I played right up until the point where you're about to get the mech that changes the game, and then immediately lost interest and quit. So, good job, Xenoblade Chronicles, for putting 30 hours worth of gameplay between me and the thing that I really wanted to do in your video game.
All right, I got one. I got a couple of them. I can contribute to this.
Oh, excellent.
For this list.
Throw them in there.
Because, I mean, as you know, I didn't play nearly as much as you did, and I didn't even play nearly as much as I usually do, because, focusing on other things.
Right.
But there's a handful of things that I wish I'd spent more time with, like we mentioned earlier, Until Dawn.
Yep.
It's a horror movie.
Yep.
It's a 90s horror movie, and I that's something I would love to explore. That's the
next one on my list. That was the next one on my list, was Until Dawn. So
yeah. I want to dive into that, because apparently it gets crazy violent and awesome.
Yeah.
When I want something creepy and fun, I don't necessarily need crazy violent, but I like it when horror games are actually able to scare me.
It never hurts though, right?
No, sometimes it hurts.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just like, okay, yeah, blood and guts. I get it. You have seen Saw.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good for you. It's like, I don't know, gore effects and shit like that. It's in spite of the persona I assume sometimes on Rage Select Let's Plays, gore effects are just like, well, particularly in movies, it's like, oh, okay, great. Anybody can do that. I mean, I realize it takes some artifice, but I think it's a lot more interesting and delicate if you can scare someone without gore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, Just Cause, or excuse me, Until Dawn, Witcher.
That was at the top of my list. I wish I had played. I'm in this horrible position with The Witcher 3 where I played it for 20 hours, then stopped, and now I'm like, okay, do I start over, or do I pick up from, I can't remember what the hell is going on here, or even how to play this game anymore? Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's one. And you know what's sad is that I say that about every Witcher game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whenever it comes out, I'm like, man, I gotta get some Witcher going on. I really want to dive into that. And then it was like, Witcher 2's out, and you don't really need Witcher 1. It's okay, yeah, I gotta play that. It's sitting right there on the shelf. I played it a little bit. It's cool. I gotta get. Well, Witcher 3's out, and, fuck those other ones. It's just what's going to happen. Like, Witcher 8 is going to come out, and I'm going to be like, I need to play some Witcher 8. I hear it's really good.
Everybody keeps saying how good it is. God damn. It took me actually several years to to get back to The Witcher 2 after I'd played it. I stopped playing it. They spent years like working on it, patching it, and I finally got back to it and then marathon through it and was like, oh yeah, this is great. So maybe 8 months from now on my Twitter, I'm going to be like, hey man, you guys, Witcher 3 was really good. Like I'd start playing it again, and everybody's like, yeah, Jeff, we know. We've been telling you for like a year now how good it was. All right, well, what else you got?
What else? I hear bad things about this one, but I'm still a little curious. Rainbow Six Siege.
I will let you borrow it if you want to.
Okay.
I
mean, not anytime soon, but yeah, sure.
I'm not going to be playing it, so somebody might as well put it into a PlayStation and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I hear it's like half of a game, like even worse than Battlefront.
No, yeah, it's just different. I don't know. I think that I finally come to the realization that like I'm not super interested in playing any Rainbow Six game. Like I think I've been trying to force it for the last decade, and I just don't think that that's the sort of game that I'm really super interested in. Like give me Call of Duty. I'm gonna throw one out there. Resident Evil Revelations 2 came out.
Oh yeah,
and I really did want to play all the way through that and just kind of it was another one where I feel like the episodic thing really just broke my momentum because I played through the first episode and then it was like, well, you got to wait a week or 2 weeks or whatever they were doing. I think it was like every week they're putting out 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So yeah, I really want a chance to go back and play that. Do you have any more?
Yeah, 2 actually.
Okay.
Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I like the last one. It's cool. I don't have an Xbox One nor time to play it, but I want to. What gets me is that their limited exclusivity that Microsoft has. I thought, okay, well, it'll be coming out pretty soon. It came out in October or November or whatever, so yeah, it'll be out within the next couple of months. No, Q4 of 2016.
Yeah, it was
on the PS4.
Full year. We actually knew that ahead of time, except for like the Windows version comes out at the end of this month.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like it'll probably come out, in a year on the PS4, and I'm just going to kind of shrug like, yeah, okay, I don't care, whatever.
Can I guess your last one? Because it might be one from my list too.
Oh, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Oh, well, that's that's surprising.
Surprise.
Because yeah, I did play all the way through that, and I could say you should probably play Soma instead if you're looking for a walking simulator.
Oh yeah, Soma, yeah. Soma should have made that list as well. It's just a weird, quiet, thoughtful game. I'm really intrigued by it.
I don't know that I could recommend Everybody's Gone to the Rapture to you, but if you play it, I'm really interested to know what you think of it. Because
remember, I really liked Gone Home.
Right, but I think that the thing you're going to find with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is that the game doesn't focus on the thing that you want it to focus on. That's what I found from Everybody Went to the Rapture was that.
Okay.
I was really interested in the Rapture, and the game seemed way more interested in a whole other thing that I was like, no. But the Rapture, it's in the title. Come on, guys. The other 2 that I had on this particular list were Pillars of Eternity that we talked about earlier that I really do kind of want to get back to, and Lost Dimension, the Brian Salisbury's introduction to JRPGs, because it was like this one crazy PlayStation 3 JRPG that I actually really wish that I had more time to play that seemed like it had some kind of interesting stuff going on. So actually what I'd like to, well, I don't know. I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to throw this out here as kind of a maybe thing, right? As I've been thinking about one of the ways that I might actually go through and play these games is if the people of Rage Select force me to, Jason. So
yeah.
I've been thinking about saying, hey, do you guys want to see maybe like patrons, right? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe a day of the week or whatever, like me by myself play through one of these games. You could pick the one, and then I'll just sit here in front of a microphone. You guys have seen me. Well, I don't think anybody's ever actually seen me soberly do a solo Let's Play, but I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments about that. Maybe one of these games strikes your fancy and you're like, yeah, I want to force Jeff to play all the way through The Witcher 3. And then I'll be like, well, I gotta. The people, they said they wanted it, so...
The people demanded it.
Yeah, I've got it. All right, well, let's go on to another category, which I feel like you probably have some input on, and that is the disappointments. 2015 big disappointments in no particular order.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to go first with Battlefield Hardline.
Oh, I was going to say that one. Yes. Yes. It was okay. You guys tried something different, and you failed.
Yep.
So let's don't do that again.
I just look back on that and go, boy, of all the modern military / whatever things, well, how could you make that game like? The story was just so bleh. And
you know what? I thought the story was fine. The single player, I was down. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll play that. But the multiplayer was not the Battlefield goodness that I had grown accustomed to. I know they were trying something different. They were doing cops and robbers and whatever. And okay, cool. But that's, there weren't, where's my tank?
Right.
Where are all the helicopters? Where are the jets? That's the fun thing, is that the breadth of what you can do in a Battlefield game, and it was seriously pared down in this.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, this is such a weird one, and it's the last one that I really expected to be on this particular list. And let me be clear about this: was not super disappointing, and I did spend a good 8 to 10 hours actually playing it. But Just Cause 3 had some real amateur bullshit in it that really kept me from enjoying it.
Oh, yeah?
These super, super long load times that they had that were, inexplicably, sometimes they'd be real long and sometimes they wouldn't. And when you're playing a game where you can get blown up real easily, it's like the last thing I want to do is be staring at a load screen. Also, they put that bullshit in there where it's like, you glided for 1.2 miles. You beat Jason's glide score by 400 meters. And then you'll just be playing the game and just this thing would pop up and go, oh, Jason just beat your glide score by 600 meters. And I looked around, and I don't know if they've patched this in. I don't think they did the last time that I looked at the game. No way to turn that shit off. Except for playing offline, which I was only able to do by literally signing my PlayStation 4 out of the PlayStation Network. When I tried to play offline.
Oh my God.
And it would keep trying to log back in and keep trying to do this shit. I'm just like, dude, I just want to blow stuff up. That's all I want to do, Just Cause 3. Which kind of sucks because there was a lot of other stuff in Just Cause 3 that I really liked, and it was just, I don't know. It was weird how...
It sounds like Avalanche Studios had a rough year.
I think they did. I honestly do. I think that they shouldn't have split their focus between two games. Well, how about you? You got another one to throw on this list?
Of games that were disappointment.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say, and this is one that I didn't play a lot of, played maybe an hour on Rage Select. And with these next two that I have, I'm going to say that I can't really say that they sucked, but I kind of know that they were disappointments. And from what I played, I wasn't impressed. The Order, 1866. 1886, whatever. Yes.
Yeah. I had somebody who went onto on the Rage Select Facebook to tell me exactly why The Order 1886 wasn't as bad as we made it out to be. And if you paid $10 for The Order 1886, I'm sure it would be a perfectly lovely experience. But $60 goddamn dollars for a game with zero replay value and no multiplayer that's over in about 8 hours, and about 2 of that being slowly walking around, I can't.
Agonizingly walking around. I remember that now.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually padded those areas. Or you remember that time where it's like they're at the round table and the meeting lets up and there's 2 ways around the round table, except that one of them has 2 people standing in front of it that won't move when you walk up to them. So you have to walk the long way around slowly to get out the... Oh, Jesus.
Padding the playtime.
Yep. Which, again, if you got it on sale for $10 on a sale... Yeah, I could see waste an afternoon with that. You're just like, hey, man, it's a short game. There's some werewolves. It's got a kind of dumb story, but there's parts of it that are pretty cool and blah, 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 blah. But fucking $60 for that thing, it just wasn't worth it. wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah, and that's becoming like more and more the case these days. Is it's not a bad game. There's just not enough of it.
Yeah,
for what you pay. That seems to be like really common these days.
Yep. Well, I'm going to throw Evolve in there. Because
that was my other one. Yes, and that I didn't play that at all. But it's one of those where I'm like, what? Oh yeah, Evolve. That was a thing. What happened with that?
You remember how hard they were pushing that goddamn game?
Yes.
Like, what was the E3? There was an E3. I don't think it was one that we were at, but it might have been not last year's, but the year before, where there was like one of the Twitch channels streaming from E3 that was completely devoted to nothing but like a 2-day Evolve tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, played it. It doesn't seem like a bad game. It just doesn't. Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. I never felt good playing it. Like, it never tapped any of the freaking happy buttons in my brain. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just a monster or a robot.
Yeah, that's a shame because it looked so great.
Yep.
It looked to be hitting those notes that Left 4 Dead Co-op used to.
Yep, absolutely.
And, well, honestly, still does for me since I play it weekly.
All right, I'm going to run down the last three of these real fast because these aren't two of these aren't really egregious, but I put them on here anyway. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I played all the way through it, but it was just like eating like room temperature toast. It was like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, but like,
my thing is that it was just familiar. It was very, very, very familiar. I liked it, but it was just like, okay, this is another Assassin's Creed game. I've done this many times.
That, and I tell you what, man, I really wanted to like Mad Max, but I just couldn't. It never managed to get its hooks into me enough where to really. I mean, it's just.
I liked it, but it was very repetitive.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that really just killed the momentum of the game, and that was having to get out of the vehicle and collect scrap every time. Now, there was a thing, and you and I talked about this, there was a thing that you could unlock, and there was one for every area, every region of the map, that was an automatic scrap collector. But it was like the last thing you got.
Yep.
And so it's like, once you get that, it's like, I'm not even going to be in this area, but just passing through. So it was just a huge flaw that killed the momentum of the game.
I almost feel like if they had just cut down on the size of the world a little bit so you could just get between stuff without actually having to drive that much, like it might have been better. Or if they had I've said this before, and sorry, but like if that game had the Nemesis system in it, right? Where
yes, it so needed that. Where it needed that so badly.
Some war boy beats you and then raises up to the rank of blah blah blah. You know, if it had some better meta game outside of just like, we'll collect all these things and then build this thing in your base, and it's like, okay, all right. And then finally, and this is so weird that I put this on here, but. And I doubt I've ever even talked to you about this, Jason, but do you remember that last year Homeworld Remastered came out?
Vaguely.
Okay,
yeah.
So they took Homeworld 1 and Homeworld 2, they put them together into one package, they did some work on the graphics, they re-released them, etc. They broke a part of Homeworld, a very important part of Homeworld, where when you put your ships into a group, you can change the formation of your group, and they will assemble into like a sphere or a delta or, you know, a line or a wall or whatever you want, right? That feature didn't really work properly in this re-release. I just went and looked up the latest patch for this, and there are still people, January 2016 in the comments. This was released February of last year. Right now, like, when are you guys going to fix the formation function? When are you going to fix this thing that is like necessary to play the game on higher difficulty levels? When are you going to fix this in the new one? And they're adding in patches for this thing and for that thing and stabilization and bug fixes, but it appears that they haven't fixed this yet. If they have, I apologize. And by the time you listen to this podcast, if they've fixed it, great, I'll go back and play it. But I love Homeworld, and I really wanted to play it again. But after playing through 4 or 5 missions without this, I was just like, like it's just maddening. All right, so before we get to the top 10, I got one more category here just to go run through real fast, and these are things that I loved dearly that did not merit all the way into my top 10 that I just wanted to go through real fast. I don't think that you actually played any of these. Well, maybe one of them, Jason, but
Okay.
Destiny: The Taken King expansion.
No.
I
Didn't
know
play
that,
it. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I know that people didn't. I mean, I know that it's real scummy for them to basically fix Destiny with a paid expansion a year after it came out, right? But when I went back through and played through the entirety of Destiny with this expansion and all of the DLC that had come out, it finally felt like a full game, and it finally kind of got me into Destiny for about 2 weeks there before I got rid of it. Helldivers.
Oh, yeah.
Was super fun for a week. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool.
yeah, Super Earth. Like, I love Super Earth. Axiom Verge last year on the PlayStation 4 and the PC. I'm obsessed.
I actually played Helldivers, by the way.
Oh, did you? What did you think of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I liked it. It was cool.
Did you play it with
For a little bit.
You play it with Allison?
No, I played it by myself.
Oh. Oh man, that sucks. Like, it's a perfect couch co-op game because
Yeah.
of the viewpoint for it. Axiom Verge, did you play that?
No.
It was a
I did not.
Metroidvania game.
Right. Right. I was curious about that one, but did not play it.
Yeah, it was good. Went a little off the rails towards the end, but it was really a fun game and a good experience. I've been watching that game for a couple of years and it did not disappoint. Strangely, Disney Infinity 3.0.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you've got the money to buy all the little plastic, like, I actually kind of want Jason to go back and buy the Force Awakens pack for Disney Infinity 3.0. I forgot that was a thing until I got back from vacation.
Yeah, I know a lot of like grown ass people that are just super into Disney Infinity and like totally picked up Force Awakens and stuff like that.
Oh, maybe I'll have to. Ooh, is one of them Randy? Can I borrow it from him? Ooh. All right, let's finish this out because we're already over. Ori and the Blind Forest was real fun. Another kind of Metroidvania thing. It was an Xbox One exclusive that then came to the PC where you played as this little white puffball thing. It was kind of, it reminded me a lot of, nope, just lost it. Never mind. Metroidvania game, real fun. It's on the PC. Play it. The PC release of Assassin's Creed Rogue, finally getting a good version of Assassin's Creed Rogue out there because I still think that game is a head and shoulders above both Syndicate and the French one. What was that?
Yeah.
Unity.
Unity, right.
And last but certainly not least, I forgot that last year the new 3DS XL, which I fucking love, came out. Like, and
it's pretty gorgeous.
Like, just the fact that the 3D works, it's incredible. All right, well, I tell you what. Now I got my top 10, so I'm going to go down the list. Do you want to go?
Hey,
you want to go first?
Let me. I just want to mention a couple of also RANs and things that merit mentioning that I maybe didn't play very much, but I know that a lot of people were into that came out this year and that they might feel slighted. Something that you and I maybe weren't really into. Rocket League.
Yes. Yep.
Rocket League is a hell of a lot of fun, right? And also two things that I didn't play at all. A little bit, and you played them a little bit. But I know they've got rabid fans. Mortal Kombat X.
Okay.
And Mario Maker.
Yes. I feel bad that I kind of missed the boat a little bit on Mario Maker. Nintendo had some poor timing this year about when some of the stuff came out towards the end of the year.
Blame it on Nintendo, right, Jeff? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll totally blame it on Nintendo.
No, I just had an idea, something we should do.
A new segment called "Blame It on Nintendo."
Yeah, exactly. Someone on Rage Select produces a Mario Maker level, and the other person has to play it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does it have to be a functional Mario Maker level? Actually,
functional-ish.
I think that, before you can publish a Mario Maker level, you have to play through it to show that it can be done. You can't publish one if you yourself cannot actually play at the end. All right, well, are we ready? Ready for the top tens? Where you got
Yep.
You got 10, you got 5, what do you got?
I got 4.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go up until I'm going to go from 10 till 6, and then we can go back and forth. Or should we do it? I don't know. We're going to be stepping on each other's toes at some point in these lists, right? So
you go ahead and I'll just chime in because I bet I have all of the same ones on your list. All of mine are probably on your list with the exception of one. So you go ahead.
Okay. Number 10 for me, Mortal Kombat X. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed my time. I love Mortal Kombat, and as a fighting game, I really liked it. I liked where they went with the story. It was creative. I just really had a super good time with it. Like when I looked at the list of these things that I had listed out, I was like, you know what? No, I had a great goddamn time with Mortal Kombat X, and so I can't fault that. Number 9, Hotline Miami 2, Missed Call, which was excellent because it really took the Hotline Miami formula and then just went kind of fucking crazy with it. Like, that game is so weird. They've got so many different characters that all play in different ways. Like, it's still the same core. It's almost like a great example of exactly what I've been talking about, where, like, they took the core gameplay of Hotline Miami and then they expanded on it and did some interesting stuff with the storyline. So, great. It's also like a psychedelic 70s fuck your brain crime movie because there's no idea what the hell was going on in there.
Surprise.
Yeah.
That Hotline Miami was a mindfuck.
Number 7, strangely enough, Jason, I never would have seen this one coming. Lego goddamn Dimensions. Like,
oh, yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Like, if you'd have told me this, like, I only started understanding what Lego Dimensions was as it was getting closer to release, and I was like, you mean there's a game where I could take Batman and Gandalf and hang out with the Ghostbusters? Like, they made new Portal content, Jason. There's new Portal. There's a new Portal song. Batman and GLaDOS talk to each other. Like I just.
This sounds like a junior high Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yep.
It's like, and then Spider-Man showed up, and he had a lightsaber.
Yeah, The only thing that was missing from it was Star Wars. I mean, it had Doctor Goddamn Who. There hasn't even been a good Doctor Who game outside of the weird ones they keep producing forever. And the fact that the game would stop every so often to have you take some of the Lego pieces apart and then put them back together in a different order. Like, it's amazing how this one game made a viable video game out of a bunch of franchises that I haven't seen in years that I love. So yeah, Lego Dimensions, good on you. Fallout 4 is next on my list. It's kind of low, but I really enjoyed my time with Fallout 4, but there's something that just didn't entirely, like, it's good, it's big, it's interesting, but there's something about it that just didn't quite catch for me.
Okay.
I don't know.
I am just now getting into it myself. Mm-hmm. Really enjoying it. I wrote a long blog post. I don't know if you read it.
I did.
On my website, jasonsmurphy.com. Check it out. Sign up for the mailing list. But it was a long thing about one of my experiences with glitches. Mm-hmm. And I am sure that won't be the last time because I haven't put a lot of time into it yet.
You know, that the fight that you're talking about at the Citadel, I must have banged my head up against that like 5 or 6 times before I was like, I need to go level up apparently because
oh yeah?
Yep, I just wasn't prepared, and then I had to come back with everything, every piece of ammo and thing that I had. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird how Fallout 4, I don't know. It didn't really feel like there was quite as many viable options for playing it. And I after a long and tedious looking at it, I'm just not as much of a fan of the way that they changed the actual RPG aspects of it. And a lot of that, I think, comes from the fact that the move from Fallout 2 to Fallout 3 was a big step into this 3D world, right? And from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4 doesn't feel like a very big step. It feels like a refining almost, rather than really trying to add something. Like if you ask yourself what was added new to the Fallout experience, the answer is a little bit, but not a whole hell of a lot.
Not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, liked it. I loved it. I played it obsessively. I can't seem to bring myself to go back and finish it, though, for some reason. So what was that? 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 5 on my list is Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Hell of a lot of fun. I just enjoyed every single moment that I had with that game. I understand all the problems that people had with it, but fuck it. I was actually really surprised on the last Sunday streaming that we did where you were in there, like, when you said, it's so weird to me because I don't understand how people get better at games over time. And it was like, you were in there whooping my score every round. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I forgot how to play this goddamn game.
I remember, and I haven't played it in a couple of weeks as of this recording anyway. But I was getting better on it. Really, really, I greatly benefit from knowing the maps. Mm-hmm. So you put me on Jakku, I'm going to do all right because I've got routines and everything. But then you put me in Endor, and I'm just going to get my ass handed to me, you know.
Yeah,
but I am getting, I was at the time, but my skills are probably already completely atrophied. But yeah, I was getting a lot better.
Okay. Let's see. This is number 5 on my list. Number 5. Strangely, and this is so weird that right after Battlefront, Splatoon.
Oh yeah, man! I never played that. I heard it was so much fun.
It was so much fun. It was fucking just so much fun. I just sit here and be like, yeah, blah 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 blah. I really have to give Nintendo credit for creating a freaking online competitive shooter that is not about blowing people's heads off. Like, every shooter has been relatively similar since fucking Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, right? Like, they followed this trending path of leveling up and prestiging and getting and unlocking equipment and whatever. But the fact that just the main thing in Splatoon is how much ink is on the map instead of how many times you killed the other person, is just, it's incredible how much it changes the whole tone of the game and how it was just a shitload of fun. Just elegant, easy to play, had a crap load of fun with it. So, do you want to go with I'm down to my last, let's see, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm down to my last 4. Do you want to go with your number 4?
Yeah, I will go, well, I mean, I've already talked about, like, you did Battlefront and Fallout 4. Those were 2 of my 4. So, yeah. I've only got 2 more.
Okay.
And one of them I am almost positive will not be on your list. I've been talking about it a lot lately, so I won't spend a lot of time on it. But King's Quest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great game. It was a great update to the series. It maintained the spirit and the humor of the original PC games. It was just fun and light, and also kind of challenging. There were some puzzles in there that were, I wouldn't say mind-bending, but were kind of frustrating until you figured it out or looked it up, and it became, oh, yes, of course, it's obvious, But it was, just gorgeously animated, great voice acting, and just goofy. It's like, it's a medieval fantasy a la Terry Pratchett, Monty Python-esque humor. Just silly, but it's got some dramatic moments and some fun storytelling, and it updates the gameplay of the original while still it gets what those games were at their core.
Mm-hmm. I only played a little bit of the first one when Joe and I played it, but I loved everything that I saw of it. I mean, it's probably going to end up being another one of those games where I wait until all the episodes are out and then forget to totally goddamn play it. But
yeah, only the first 2 are out right now of 5, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, number 4 on my list is Batman: Arkham Knight. Which,
yes.
I wish that I had the strength to resist the clarion call of goddamn Batman. I wish that the Batmobile parts were more irritating or whatever. But no, I still loved it. It was still Batman, and I was still, I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm still such a goddamn fanboy for Batman.
Yeah, it was really good. I had honestly kind of forgotten about it, and now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah, and it's yeah, sure, it's in my top 5 as well.
Yep. How about you got one more?
No, that's it, man.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
All right, I got my top 3 then. Let's go through. Number 3, Heroes of the Storm, the Blizzard MOBA that came out this year, which was so high up on this list because it introduced me to MOBAs and got me interested in them and was accessible enough for me to be able to play. I really, really, really enjoyed my time playing that. And it's strange because this year there's actually a bunch of stuff on here like Splatoon and Battlefront that I played online, which I hardly ever do. And Heroes of the Storm was another one of those where I played it. I really enjoyed it. I played it mostly co-op. I've kind of fallen off on it, but there was a time there where it's like I'd really just kind of it really got me hooked. It kind of showed me, like, it got me interested enough in MOBAs that I started watching the International, and I couldn't follow it that well, but I could follow it a little bit just because I started to know some of the lingo and some of the stuff from it. Also, it's free to play, which is always nice.
Yeah. I think I want to say Brushwood was into that for a while.
Yep. And then number 2, you want to guess number 2 and number 1, Jason? Is that what I haven't mentioned so far?
Bloodborne and the Dark Souls expansion?
No. Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, I decided not to put on this list because it's kind of like, I don't know. I never...
Not a full game?
Well, it is, and it really does change Dark Souls 2, but the problem with it is that I never got a chance to play all the way through it because I played Dark Souls 2, and then John and I immediately played all of Dark Souls 2 for patrons, and then the DLC for Dark Souls 2 came out, and then this came out. It was just like... All right, look, I love you, Dark Souls, but you eat steak for every meal. Eventually, you're going to be like, can I just get some, like, celery or Cheetos or something? No, number 2 is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, because there was a Metal Gear game
of
out.
Course. Jesus, how could I totally blank on that?
And it had a whole bunch of problems, and I didn't really like it as much as some of the other Metal Gear games, but I tell you what, it's kind of like Dark Souls 2. A pretty decent Metal Gear game is still better in my book than a lot of other video games out there. Story was kind of weird and messed up, but the gameplay in that, my God, it was good. It was so good, so fun to do stuff. Now, eventually, you end up doing the same thing over and over again, but just the ways that you can screw around with that game world are great. And then, of course, number 1 is goddamn Bloodborne, because...
Of course.
I just keep going back to it, man. Like,
yeah?
It's funny how Bloodborne was a very, very good game, and then the DLC expansion came out, and it was just like, oh, fuck, I forgot what good DLC is like. This is incredible. Like, it actually, kind of like Destiny, the DLC for Bloodborne almost ended up, to me, fixing a lot of the problems that Bloodborne had, about adding in a bunch of new weapons, which they needed, and adding in a bunch of new context for stuff. And, yeah, great. Best Cthulhu game I've ever played. So
see, that gets my attention right there.
Also, there's a weapon that's just a giant saw blade on the end of a stick that you could just shove into Cthulhu and go, so
nice.
But yeah, that's it. I know people, I'm sure that we've left off your favorite game of the year. So tell us in the comments what big poopy heads we are and what your favorite game last year was. And let's see here. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't lean away from the mic like that. We got time for a couple of questions here, so let me see if I can pick out a couple of.
Yeah, let's do just a couple.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just trying to get here. Blah 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 blah. Okay. All right, I got 2, and then I got one serious, one funny, and then one real easy one. So let's just go.
Okay.
This first comes in from Cam, who says, "Hello, Jeff and Jason. Sorry if this email's a little long. I separated it into 2 parts. I recently purchased a game off the PlayStation Store website, which was a small mistake, as the website has games for both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Of course, I bought the game for the PS3. This led me into the PlayStation return policy. Luckily for me, I was able to get my money back mainly because I think that they see I never actually downloaded the game onto a system. However, for a bit, it sounded like they were not going to do anything for me. That being said, I read a lot of horror stories of people not getting their money back and Sony standing firmly behind their all sales are final clause and basically blaming their customers. Now, when I compare that to Steam's refund policy, where it's pretty much no questions asked, it left me a little baffled that in 2015/2016, industry giants like Microsoft and Sony haven't found a way to implement a fair and honest return policy. Let me just say that if I didn't get my money back, I was seriously considering joining the master race. So his question is, what are your thoughts on console game return policies when it comes to digital games? Seems Steam has figured out a blueprint that works pretty well and is fair. Thanks, Cam. Do you know Steam's return policy, Jason?
No, I do not.
It's got to, okay, so let me see if I'll look it up exactly here. But they actually use the fact that they track you to give you, so let's see. It's got to be like, okay, the Steam refund offer within 2 weeks of purchase and with less than 2 hours of playtime applies to games and software applications in the Steam store. You have to send them an email to request a return. And to be fair, Origin also has a return policy, I believe, where they say within a certain amount of time that you can, let's see, Great Game Guarantee on Origin Games says... you can request a refund within 72 hours after you first launch the game instead of 24. And refund requests can be made after you launch the game within 7 days. So within the first 7 days after you buy it, or within 72 hours after you first launch the game, you can request a refund from Origin. So, yeah. So... I don't know if there's going to be a lot of arguing between the two of us about this.
No. I mean, I get why software companies are trying to protect themselves from software returns and everything. It really just kind of opens the door for piracy. And it's been like that for a long, long, long time. Mm-hmm. But still, it's like if you're buying something on PlayStation Store and you realize that you can't play it, it's like, how did Sony even let that happen to begin with?
Oh, well, it's funny because I know because they want to let you use the store to buy anything. So if you want to buy a PlayStation 3 game to play on your PlayStation 3 while you've got the store open on the PS4, it'll totally let you do that. And their reasoning is that, like, you need to be the one to know. But what really sucks about it is when there's a game that's on all those different platforms and they've got the versions right next to each other, that's the part that really is irritating, is like, so you look for the Vita version of a game, right? And it's just sitting right next to the other one. I don't honestly understand why Steam's policy. I mean, we all know that they're watching us play these games, right? We all know that they're tracking how long we play the game or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody's even has a. I don't even have. Does anybody here have a problem with that? I don't have a problem with it. You could tell me. The only problem I have is when I look at how long I've played Fallout 3 and it tells me, and I'm just like, I could have done so much with my life. But yeah, I often was also thinking that what might be an even better, I mean, I guess you would have to really know about the back end of how this works, but like using game achievements, right? So like if you buy a game and 24 hours later you want to return it, but you have gotten all of the achievements off of it, then they could be like, no, because you bought it, you beat it, now you're trying to return it, which is the one thing that they're trying not to do, not to let you do, because otherwise everybody would just do that all the time. In fact, do you remember when you could do that at GameStop before they got wise to it?
Yes.
Where you could just buy a game and it was like 30 days.
I had a friend, I never did this myself. I never did this myself, but back in the early days of original NES, the cartridges would have, instead of the rivets, the tiny screws on them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I see where this is going.
Yep. So my buddy would buy something, play it, and or like swap it out.
Right.
He would disassemble the game and swap it out with like Duck Hunt or some shit, you know, and then take it back to the toy store.
Oh God.
And so, I mean, on the outside, it looked like Metal Gear or something like that. You know, this was like the early days, so it probably wasn't even Metal Gear. But yeah, it was. But then when you put the game in, it's like Ikari Warriors. What?
Oh man, that
so
is.
They locked down that real quick.
Which, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can understand the all sales are final and like restocking fee bullshit. They used to do it like Best Buy and GameStop or whatever. Because honestly, before that happened, we were all such ingenious little bastards who all thought we were so smart by doing things like buying a game, take it home, beat it, take it back, get another one, you know.
Man, I also had a friend who would go to Best Buy and do buy, switch, return on video cards.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He would just buy like some top of the line thing and then put his old broke ass piece of shit in there that, you know, as long as it looked visually similar. Best Buy doesn't know.
Oh, man.
You know?
Wow. That is...
Well, this was before the Geek Squad.
Right.
So now they've got some people in there who are a little savvier, right?
Right.
But, yeah, they would go in there and just like, yep, buy, switch, return. Do it RAM, video cards, sound cards, you name it.
I remember one time, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was a friend of mine who bought like a hard drive back when hard drives used to cost a lot of money from Best Buy, and brought it home and opened it up, and inside was a brick and 3 empty ketchup packets. It was like, all right, somebody owns a shrink wrap gun and doesn't give no fucks. So there you go. I think it might have been from Walmart, actually. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of consumer rights, and so I think that if you want to return, I think it would keep a lot of developers a lot more honest if you could have returned Homefront within 24 hours of buying it when you went, no. Or, hell, right now, there's a game called Avian Attorney that's on Steam. I haven't decided whether we're going to look at it. It's like these old 18th century like lithographs of birds in suits in like a Victorian courtroom. And apparently, when you get to the end of some of the chapters of the game, it just brings up a screen that goes, hey, sorry, we're not done with that chapter yet.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Like it's an early access game, except it's not an early access game. It's a full release game. So, yeah, like I think that it's important for us to have some tools to keep the developers of this shit honest, so that when they try to fuck us good and proper, we can be like, no, you give me back my money and take us out of the street.
And so many distributors like, you know, Best Buy or whoever, you know, this is, I mean, digitally it's a little different, but they're just like, nope, you got to, sorry, not our problem. You got to take it up with the developer or whatever. It's like, we just sell it.
Yep. So, fuck them all. Thanks for your question, Cam. This next one comes in from FizzGig, who says, "Hail, Jeff and Jason. Now that the holidays are over, I was wondering, what is your most surreal holiday moment you can remember? Mine would have to be this Christmas, 2015, eating Christmas dinner at my grandmother's house on the back porch to get away from my chaotic nephews and watching the neighboring funeral home belch cremation smoke downwind to the apartment complex down the street. Ugh.
Oh, my God.
Thanks for pondering my morbid question, and may the taint and sweat of Doncleves forever keep you moist. Your loyal patron subscriber forevermore, FizzGig."
Thank you, FizzGig. My most surreal moment, do you have one?
I do.
Go for it. You go for it.
So there was one year where I used to when I had money and time, I used to actually go out of my way to try to buy Christmas gifts for as many people as I knew as humanly possible. So I try to go out and find very well thought out, heartfelt, non-gift cards and give them to my friends and wrap them in nice packaging and stuff like that. So one year I played Santa. I went around to everybody's house, and one of the things I got for one of my friends was this girl that was a little bit younger than me. It was a giant stoner, was a bong, a glow-in-the-dark bong, no less. And she was like, "Oh, fantastic. I love it. In fact, I'm going to go smoke out of it right now. You should come smoke out of it with me." And I was like, "Well, I don't really smoke weed." She's like, "Come on." So I'm going to give you a little life hack here for your your show, Jason? One.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best way to see a glow-in-the-dark bong is obviously in the dark, right?
Yes.
So you go into the bathroom, you close the door, you turn the lights off, you're in there with 3 people. Now, the other thing to note about a glow-in-the-dark, about the coating, about glow-in-the-dark substances, right, they are opaque. So when you are smoking in the dark out of an opaque bong, it is next to impossible to gauge how much smoke is actually going into your lungs. Also, as a person who doesn't smoke pot very much, by the time I came out of that bathroom, I was annihilated, just super, super high, and had forgotten that I still had to go back to my parents' house for our yearly tradition of reading The Night Before Christmas as a family out loud in front of the Christmas tree. And so I came back home just baked out of my mind. Like, I'm pretty sure to this day, I've never talked about it with my parents. They know that I have been baked out of my mind before, but I'm pretty sure that I was just staring at the Christmas tree the entire time. Like, just, oh man, you guys seeing this? It got those bubblers, and like there's like a bird in there, and like whoa. It's like, that's this Darth Vader ornament that I made when I was 7. I was good at making Darth Vader ornaments. So yeah, that was probably the most horrifying thing. I could not wait for that to be over and to be left to leave and go become not high somewhere else.
So mine was actually at Brian Salisbury's New Year's party, right?
This year?
This year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't really surreal so much as it was just kind of horrifying. So there was a back room. I don't even know if you went into it, a back room for karaoke.
Oh, yes, I heard it. I could sense that was not a place for Jeff.
Right. There were always people in there, kind of a rotating cast with a few standards. And at one point, I had a few, just a couple of beers, didn't get outrageous like some people wearing a sombrero that shall remain nameless, Scargill. I went back into this room, and I was like, oh, shit. Do they have Feel Right by Mark Ronson?
Mm-hmm. What is
featuring Mystical?
What are these words that you're saying to me?
Feel Right came out. It's from the guy that did Uptown Funk.
Okay.
That big hit, huge hit. Feel Right was another song on that album, I believe, and I discovered it recently, like a year after it came out or whatever. Discovered it, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's my jam. Listen to it over and over, multiple times. So here's the thing you need to know about me.
Okay.
I'm white. Mm-hmm. Like,
very white.
Super white. Yeah. Some of my non-white friends call me Jerry Cracker. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
No,
Jerry Cracker.
No.
Yes.
And is that all right for us to call you from now on?
Sure.
Okay.
No, it's yeah.
Public knowledge now.
No bones about it. It's like, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast and have said before, my home office is Hoth-themed. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of white in here. Mm-hmm. It's like, if I ever have intruders, I'm just going to get naked and just like stand in this room and they will not know I'm in here.
Okay.
They're just not going to see me. I'm like fucking powder, right?
Yep.
And it's not just physically white. It's down to the bone. It's a deep, deep, I'm like Dick Van Dyke white.
You are. I've seen your sweater collection.
Yep. So anyway, I had a few, so I was feeling a little loose. I'm like, shit, man. I've been jamming to this song a lot, and it is rapid fire rapping. Mm-hmm. Okay, over this funky 70s like kind of James Brown. It's a good song. It's awesome. It's my jam. It's my jam right now.
Okay,
man, I get up there, two lines in, I'm like, this is a terrible mistake. And I just remember I was just like trying to keep up. Uh-huh. And I'm like, these words are coming so fast. And I couldn't keep up. And then it's like, I'm starting to keep up. And then the N word comes in. And I'm like, what do I say? Do I say bitches? Okay. We're past it. We're like an entire verse, 2 verses, 3 verses. Go, catch up. And it was a fucking train wreck.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Wow.
And so I'm just like, And I had even considered, it's like, man, next time I go to like the karaoke place, like when I went with like Rubio a few weeks ago, next time I go to that place, it's like, I'm going to fucking tear some shit up. I'm going to tear it up with Feel Right. Everybody who's listening is checking this out right now. Now just imagine me trying to get up there and do that. Wearing my funky, like late 60s, early 70s print shirt and the polyester vest and all that shit that I was wearing.
It was a Batman theme party. I was like, oh, wherever is Jason going to get clothes like a 60s businessman?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I was like, well, I do that all the time, right? So I was like, I'm going to go like Mad Men getting a little funky, like the last season of Mad Men. So, yeah, it was just total trashy, horrible. I looked like a lunatic, like some guy who would be doing coke at Area 51 or what is it, Studio 47? I don't fuck whatever it was. Anyway,
69. Wait, no, that doesn't sound right.
Studio
54.
Studio 54.
There you go.
That's the place where they did all the cocaine and the discos and everything. Anyway, yeah, it was.
Why are there?
Once it was over, I was just like, I put the mic back on. I was like, I'm very sorry. Put it back on the stand. I was like, I'm very sorry. And just walked out of the room. Like, can't go back in there.
Nice.
Can't go back in there.
Yeah.
I should bar the door and kill everyone inside.
You immediately leave and just pull out your phone and start defriending all of those people on Facebook. Like,
Yes,
I don't want to see your Vine about that. I don't want to.
Precisely.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, it's like now, whenever I listen to that song, it's like if I
just shame bubbles up from within you.
Yeah, and if I just rap along, it's kind of that whisper. It's like, gonna have to make me knock your fruit juice loose, and my lips are barely moving, and I'm like looking around, make sure nobody's looking at me.
That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. All right, well, one more. This is easy, and I'm going to give you the cliff notes for this one. This last one comes in from our friend B Hammer, who says, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Rage Select. Just a quick question for you. It's 2016. Woo! With the new year, we've got a lot of new and exciting stuff to look forward to. Some pretty big movies, interesting looking games, great TV shows. What are some things that you are excited for this year?"
Hey, remember how I said that I was just absolutely sick of Star Wars? Looking forward to Rogue One, son.
Can you think of any games that are coming out? I've got the 2016 games list up, so I am cheating.
Games. You know what? I know you don't give a shit. I'm looking forward to The Division.
Okay. I'm glad that one of us is. Maybe you can do the dojo for that with somebody else. No, I actually have to see at this point. I've been talking so much shit about it that I have to see. Is it Sleeping Dogs or is it like fantastic? All right, I'm going to run down a bunch of stuff. The Witness comes out before the month is out. So
don't know what that is.
That's the new Jonathan Blow game. The guy that made come on, the time.
I don't know.
Son of a bitch. Jonathan Blow. Come on. Braid.
Right.
It's the Braid guy, his next game.
Yep.
February, or this is in no particular order. XCOM 2. Fucking love XCOM.
Ooh,
can't wait for XCOM.
Right on. Yes.
Firewatch, of all things. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Okay. It's about people in the woods, and it's like a crazy mystery. Let's see. Far Cry Primal, Street Fighter 5-ish, Hitman. I really do want to play the new Hitman. I love Hitman. We talked about Quantum Break.
Last Guardian.
Yep.
If it actually happens.
Of course, Dark Souls 3. Duh.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that's a given.
You know what I really appreciate, Jason, is the fact that the Dark Souls release cycle has for the last few years always come around my birthday. And this year, Dark Souls 3 comes out April 12th, 4 days before my birthday. And I'm just like, yay, happy birthday. That new Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted 4 both come out in April as well. So looking forward to those. The new Deus Ex is in August. I'm looking forward to that. Let's try stuff that doesn't have a confirmed release date. Crackdown 3, I do want to play. Dishonored 2, I am really interested in. I am really interested also to see if Doom is worth a goddamn or not. Let's see. Eve Valkyrie. Final Fantasy 15 is supposed to finally be coming out. I'm still in spite of it all, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm still a sucker for Final Fantasy. Gears of War 4. I have a feeling that new Homefront game is not going to be... Wait, there's a new God Eater? Oh, wait, that's a different franchise. The new Homefront game looks like it could be all right, but I'm a little like, meh. Hyper Light Drifter, Last Guardian, you already said. Mafia 3 looks really good.
Yeah, totally down for Mafia 3.
This Game Informer list actually has Mass Effect Andromeda listed for 2016. That would be cool if there was a new Mass Effect game that was good. Let's see. No Man's Sky. I'm still maybe
Holding out hope.
Maybe. Overwatch is supposed to be out sometime this year. The Blizzard first-person shooter game.
Right. The TF2 knockoff. Yeah.
I think it's more of a MOBA than a TF2 knockoff.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I can't. I'm sorry, I haven't read into this, but some people were telling me that it's like, because I think that only one person on your team can be each one of those characters, and there's so many characters that they're not classes; they're characters, which to me is more MOBA and less class based. Persona 5 is supposed to be out at some point this year. You better believe that one's on the list.
Oh, of course it is.
Yep. Rock Band VR? No. Shadow Warrior 2. I am really excited about Shadow Warrior 2.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 4-player multiplayer. Like, imagine Left 4 Dead crossed with that Shadow Warrior game. There you go. I know that is probably the last thing in the world that you ever wanted to see, but Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is coming out some point this year.
Oh yeah. I love Fire Emblem, but I don't know.
I don't think you would like that. You should go watch a video of it and then come back and be like, nope. Star Fox, the new Star Fox is supposed to be out this year, which I am looking forward to. Tacoma is supposed to be coming out this year, which is the next one from Fulbright Company, the Gone Home guys. Or I think is that what that is? Is that the one? The space station where it's like a big space station that's empty and you're listening to audio logs. It's like, oh, okay, so it's just Going Home but in space.
No idea.
Okay. No, fuck that. Fuck a bunch of that. And yeah, I'm gonna go with fuck a bunch of that with everything else that's on this list. So yeah, that's a good smattering. As far as movies go, yeah, I'm with you on Star Wars. But is there what's on the Marvel deck for this year?
Civil War.
Oh, okay. Yep, I'm totally
and
into that.
The one with the wizard guy that ashole's writing.
Oh yes, Mr. Weird.
That's the one.
Further Adventures of Mr. Weird.
Professor Weird.
Yep.
He's a professor. Give him some fucking credit.
I'm gonna go watch Dog of Justice. All right.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna watch it. What else is on? What else do we know is already on deck for this year, movie wise? You're probably more tied into that than I am. But
I don't know. You know what? Haven't been watching a lot of movies. Haven't been playing a lot of games. My comic book reading has even taken a hit. What's happening to me?
Who are you, man?
I know. I'm trying to think. I don't have it. I think, we got the two Marvels and Star Wars and Civil War.
Yep.
As far as like the big tentpole flicks. And Batman, Superman.
Is that new Harry Potter one coming out this year?
Oh yeah, that one actually looks pretty good.
Deadpool is coming out in February.
Oh shit, son! I always forget Deadpool. How could I do that? That trailer looks great.
Is a Rolling Paper Shut In, Eddie? Well, I don't know half of. I know nothing about movies. I kept seeing that Zootopia. That new Disney thing, they had the trailer for it on Star Wars. I don't know if you saw it when you saw Star Wars. They go to the DMV and they're that sloth that's selling the joke. Seemed like it was pretty cool.
No, I've heard something about it, but I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay.
Ride Along 2 is coming.
Oh yes, the classic, the sequel to the classic Ride Along.
Dirty Grandpa.
Oh, Dirty Grandpa, really? Actually,
yep.
In April, the Ratchet & Clank movie is coming out at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really hoping that is not the worst thing in the world. X-Men Apocalypse, I've got to say, I can't. Ish.
Out of the superhero movies coming out, that's the one I'm actually least excited for because the trailers haven't sold me yet. It's probably going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, I want to see it, but I'm not like rabid for it.
The Lady Ghostbusters is coming out in July.
Looking forward to that one.
Suicide Squad in August.
Yep. What else we got?
September.
We Are Twisted Fucking Sister.
Is that a movie?
Yep, documentary about the early years of Twisted Sister.
Okay, now what is this in November? I'm just looking at Metacritic's upcoming page. November 11th, The Sinister Six. There's a Sinister Six movie. 6 of mankind's greatest enemies form an alliance to destroy New York City and Spider-Man?
That's not happening.
That's not happening?
They were talking about that a long time ago, but it's like dead right now. Yeah, that's
okay.
not a thing anymore.
Okay. Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah, Assassin's Creed, right. God, what was... end of February, there's one coming out that is really damned good.
Yeah?
The Witch.
Oh, okay. Have you seen it already?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, it played at Fantastic Fest, and it is spooky.
And as far as TV goes, I'm going to just stick to what I know. Game of Thrones. Can't wait for new Game of Thrones.
Daredevil Season 2.
Is Better Call Saul getting a second season? Because
It is. I don't know when, but it is.
Really enjoyed that. Also,
It's a damn good show.
What's on the Netflix? Is the Marvel? What's on the Marvel Netflix tab for?
Yeah, I don't think they've announced a premiere for Luke Cage, but I'm pretty sure Daredevil Season 2 hits in March.
Why are they making a new Full House series? Why are they?
I don't know.
Why are they doing?
I don't
that?
know.
Why are they doing that?
I don't
shit?
know.
We all remember.
I don't
that
understand.
Full House was a bad show when it was on.
It was fucking terrible when it was on.
When it was on. When I was 8 and I was watching it, it was like there could be better television than this. I knew it in my bones already.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah.
It was just the worst kind of just regurgitated garbage, toothless bullshit.
Yay! And with that, we're done. As I got you to go off on something that people liked and say how much you hated it.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
I did the same
You
thing.
got me.
I did the same thing. All right, and that's our show for this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Be sure to go down to the comments and tell us all what your game of the year was and why Full House was an awesome show. And we should respect the Full House people of this world. Also, I'm just going to throw it in there since we're talking about stuff. I just started listening to Reply All, the podcast. It's good. Just check it out. It's kind of cool. Jason, where can people find you these days on the interwebs?
I'm at Captain Murphy. You can like my page on Facebook. I try to post that regularly and respond to everybody, usually, that I can anyway. And please check out my website, because I got a book coming out this year, jasonsmurphy.com. And sign up for the mailing list. I'm assembling a small strike team of sorts on that mailing list. So you want to be a part of that.
Rob a bank, something like that. Rob Brian Brushwood's house. Is that what you're going to do?
Hey, you don't know shit, man. I've said too much.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week. Later.